Welcome to NBA Assist. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang from WagerTalk.com, also known as UCapper Sports on all social media platforms. The show's every Tuesday and Thursday. We talk about actionable sports betting information to make sure that you guys are more informed before you make your sports betting decisions in the NBA. In each episode, I'll go through each game on the day slate. And today we have 4 games on the board. We have the Raptors visiting the Sixers. We got the Pistons versus the Pelicans. Magic versus the Jazz, and a late game in this rematch between the Spurs and the Suns. Before we get started, though, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification button bell as well, so you don't miss future episodes of NBA Assist. Also, if you want to try out a 3 day or 7 day all access pass, make sure you utilize the promo code assist50 to get 50% off those packages. You can see it scrolling down on the bottom there. Right now, actually, currently number one overall handicapper at Wager Talk since August 1st. All my all access clients up over 105 units during that period. Current all sports run 23-8, including 17-6 in the NBA during that run as well. So make sure you utilize that promo code assist50 to get 50% off a 3 or 7 day all access pass just to try it out. All right, let's get into this first game here. We got the Raptors visiting the Sixers, and it looks like the line here is at -8 for the Sixers. Totals down to 215.5. Raptors coming into this one 2-3 on the season. They are on the second leg of a back-to-back home to road games. They did smash the Bucks yet last night, and I talked about it on Wager Talk NBA Tip Off. It was sort of a matchup, a good matchup for the Raptors against this Bucks defense here. This is already the second matchup between the two teams. Raptors lost the first matchup 114-107 at home. Precious Achua, I think he's currently out right now. Other than that, no one on the injury report that I've seen. Sixers coming into this one 2-1 on the season, so they're well rested compared to the Raptors here. This is also the first game after the huge trade that landed them Batum, Morris, Covington, and Kenyon Martin. My original news that I've seen is Batum will not be with the team right away. He's out for personal issues, but this is the second of a 5 game homestand for them. They do have the Suns on deck on Saturday. Potential look ahead, but there's some time in between the games here. It sounds like Kelly Oubre will be the guy that moves into that starting lineup to start in place of PJ Tucker. That adds a bit of speed and offensive versatility to that starting lineup, and defensively as well. That gives them some lateral defense for them to stick with the wings that the Raptors have. I talked about the NBA on the NBA tip off yesterday, or yeah, it was basically a stylistic matchup that really worked out well for the Raptors, right? Nick Nurse does know this team well, though, right? And the Sixers should be ready for whatever the Raptors throw their way. He knows that roster pretty well. Yeah, the Sixers, they have a much more well-rounded team than the Bucks at this point, and they have the chemistry going as well. So, I think from a matchup perspective, the Sixers do match up well against this Raptors team, better than what we saw the Bucks. Better than how we saw the Bucks did yesterday against this Raptors team. I know that the starters didn't play heavy minutes yesterday just because it was somewhat of a blowout. But this is a back-to-back with travel involved, going from Toronto to Philly. Philly is a much better defensive rebounding team. They're more efficient offensively as well. Sixers and Raptors faced each other 4 times last season, and the Sixers went over their team total in 3 of those games. The Sixers went over their team total in that first matchup earlier this season as well. I just think from a matchup perspective, the Sixers have the edge over the Raptors. And now you are including the situational spot here as well. So from a side perspective, I got to look towards the Sixers to win and cover this one. From a total perspective, I'm not too sure what to expect offensively from the Raptors. They could either continue their offensive momentum they picked up against the Bucks yesterday, or they could fall flat due to the back-to-back travel spot. So for me, I'm not too sure where to go from a total perspective, but definitely the Sixers on the side there. That's the only way that I could look. Pistons and Pelicans is the next game up on the board, and the line here that I'm seeing is Pelicans -7.5. The total at 218. Um, Pistons, they're 2-3. They're on a 2 game losing streak here. They lost to the Blazers at home yesterday as favorites. Now they're on the second leg of back-to-back games, home to road as well. So that's a travel. There's travel involved there against the Pelicans here. Uh, Injuries, they're dealing with some injuries there. Monte Morris, Bogdanovich is out. Duran missed yesterday's game, and I think he's questionable tonight, and so is Alec Burke. So I think it's important to know Duran's status before you make a play on this game. Pelicans 3-1 on the season, coming off a hard fought 110-106 win against the Thunder yesterday. They had to come back down a good chunk of points early in that first half and ended up getting the win. I had the under in that game, so glad that went through. This is the first of a two-game homestand for them. They do face the Hawks on Saturday. Pelicans also dealing with some injuries. Ingram's missed a couple games in a row. Trey Murphy's out. Najee Marshall, Jose Alvarado still out as well. Both of these teams play a similar pace, and usually when I look at teams with similar pace, I typically look at the over because that means that they're comfortable with each other's pace. So, I know both teams are in the top 10 in the defensive rating, but this is a situation where I think we do see some points here. I think this is where I kind of get into the numbers and get a little nerdy, basically. Talking about statistical interactions. The Pistons turn the ball over at a high rate, and the Pelicans are one of the best teams in the league as far as points off turnovers. Both teams are top 10 in second chance points as well. And the Pelicans are actually dead last in allowing second chance points. So the Pistons, especially if Duran is in, should be able to take advantage of that. I think the Pelicans, in my opinion, are a much better offensive team than their advanced stats show. But I don't know if they can cover this 7.5 after that type of game they played yesterday. Also, some news from this morning that I saw was they had some trouble with their flight last night, so they're actually flying in this morning. So that could affect the flow, their flow as well. So I just don't know where to go from a side perspective, but I do know that they're a team that are on the second leg of back to back with travel. But this might be one of those situations where I gotta look towards an over here. That would probably be the way that I go. I think that for me, the statistical interactions point me towards the over. I think what one team does well and one team gives up. That's the type of matchup that I'm seeing here between these two teams. So I would look towards the over in that one. Magic and the Jazz. The Magic coming into this one 2-2 on the season. They're coming off of back-to-back losses to the LA teams, but they did fight. Especially that first game, they were playing really hard there. Then got caught on the second leg of back-to-back games, so they struggled in the second half against the Clippers. They kept it tight in the first half, but this is the last game of their 4-game Western Conference road trip. They do head back home to start a tough 4-game homestand on Saturday. The Jazz 2-3 on the season, coming off a 133-109 win over the Grizzlies yesterday. I was on the wrong side of that one. I thought the Grizzlies would show up with the Jazz in their spot here, but I still went 2-1 yesterday. The Grizzlies was just a bad loss. The starters, for the Jazz there, they didn't play heavy minutes. They didn't have to travel, so I don't expect fatigue to play a huge role for this Jazz team. But they do head out for a 4-game road trip after this. The Jazz, they shot incredibly well, especially in that first quarter against the Grizzlies. Overall, they shot 54% from the field, 22 out of 43 from threes. I just don't think they're going to be able to do that against, to me, I feel like a really good perimeter defensive team like the Magic. I think we'll see a big drop in shooting efficiency for the Jazz in this game. The Jazz, they do also turn the ball over at a high rate, and the Magic are 5th in steals. So that should limit their scoring opportunities as well. Both teams are not that great from the free throw line. I think fatigue, like I said, is going to hit the Magic, especially with this being, I think, their 4th road game in a row on the Western Conference. I can see that them struggling offensively here. So I don't know. From a side perspective, I don't know where to lean either way. I think either team can get the win here. I think it'll be a tight game eventually, but even though the Jazz are the worst defensive rated team in the league, I still got to look towards the under in that game. All right, last game on the board. I forgot to use the banner there. Sorry about that. The last game on the board, the Spurs 2-2 on the season, coming off the huge upset win over the Suns on Tuesday. This is the last game of their road trip. They go home for 1 game, then head out on a 2-game Eastern Conference road trip. Don't see anyone on the injury report at this point. Suns 2-2 on the season, last of a 3-game homestand. before heading out for a 3-game Eastern Conference road trip that starts with a tough one against Philly on Saturday. Potential look ahead there, but they have to look towards avenging that loss the other day. Beal has yet to play. Damian Lee is out as well. Booker has missed a couple games and is considered, I believe, is still considered a game time decision tonight. So it would be interesting to know, to know what his status will be. The Suns definitely have to, like I said, they have to have that revenge mindset coming into this one tonight. The Spurs came back from I think it was a 20-point deficit and got the win on I think a controversial non-call to end that game there. And then KD couldn't hit the game winner. The turnovers killed the Suns. So did the points in the paint. The Spurs outscored the Suns 56-40 in the paint. The Suns, they shot pretty well. I mean, I think I felt like they knew that was something that they were going to be able to do against a bad Spurs defense. But the Spurs only turned the ball over 12 times after turning the ball over 25 times in the previous game. So they did a great job protecting the ball and creating turnovers for themselves, because I believe the Suns had 19 turnovers. For me, whether or not Booker plays, I think the Suns will protect the ball a little bit better. I think they make the necessary adjustments on the defensive end as well. They should win and cover this big spread, in my opinion. I think, psychologically, this is a game they want to go hard in. So for me, 8.5 points. I still think they should be able to get it done. I think it opened up at 7, so still you missed a couple points there. But that's the only way that I could look in that one. And from a total perspective, I think the Suns will be able to limit the Spurs there. I think they did a good job in the beginning part of the game limiting the Spurs, and they kind of just let off a little bit in the second half, and that's how the Spurs came back. So I think they play the full 48 in this one, and limit the Spurs. I could look towards the under in that one there. So that's it, guys. That's the end of the slate from today. That's 4 games. Just to review where my head is at, I'm leaning towards the Sixers to cover the spread there. I'm leaning towards the Pistons and Pelicans to go over. Magic game under. Suns to cover and potentially under as well. But like I said, this is not a show where you follow blindly. This is meant to really assist you guys with your handicapping process. If you want to follow my premium plays, the plays that I actually bet on, head over to wagertalk.com, or you can see the link on the bottom, wt.buzz/RC. That goes straight to my handicapper page. And I talked about the promo that's going on right now. Wager Talk has an exclusive promo for NBA Assist viewers only. Use the promo code ASSIST50 to get 50% off a 3 or 7 day all access pass. You can see my numbers down there. First number one overall since August 1st, up over 105 units, and this is being done through multiple sports. 23-8 all sports run right now, including 17-6 in the NBA. So seeing the board really well through all those sports there. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in and trusting my insights. Make sure you share your thoughts and favorite plays in the comments as well. Till next time, guys, fade or follow. Good luck. Peace.